Vincent Lovell is in his 30s, a playboy who works at a construction company. He is charming and playful, and thinks that he can trap any girl he sets his eyes on. And so, at the wedding of his good friends Stephen and Lily, Vincent lays eyes on Lena Carlisle, Lily's sister and maid of honor. Lena is considered to be out of Vincent's league. While his friends are saying their vows of love and commitment, Vincent is reminded of the last conversation he had with his sister before her accident. Their discussion was about love, and Vincent's lack of understanding of the word. Later, while having a laugh with his friends about how Vincent might never be the one to get hitched, Vincent declares that he might just consider buying into the trap of marriage and love, but only if it is with Lena. He points at her from across the room, making Lena feel weird. DeQuell does not like the way Vincent treats women as objects, and warns him off Lena. But Vincent, being the typical playboy that he is, takes it as a challenge, even when he finds out that Lena is dating a guy named Devin. Before leaving, he warns Vincent to be on his best behavior, but Vincent dares to make his move. He walks up to Lena, and while it is clear she is trying to avoid him, he tries asking her out on a date. When Lena's boyfriend Devin sees Vincent making moves on his girl, he declares his territory, but Vincent mocks him, saying he does not see a ring on her hand. This makes Devin mad, and a fight breaks out. Vincent's friends come to his rescue and Devin finally leaves, but not without a warning to Vince. But all Vincent is concerned about is whether Lena will be alright, going away with a drunken Devin. Vincent storms out of the venue and walks to his car. But in the middle of the night, a man follows him. Vincent gets lucky as he gets to his car without a clue. Just then, his ex Valentina gets into the car, and Vincent is surprised to see her. After their last date 2 years ago, when Vincent broke up with her, Valentina left the country to get away. There seems to be a lot of history between them, and as the two are about to kiss and reconcile, Valentina suggests she wants to talk to him. Vincent stops right there, and Valentina realizes that she is nothing but a means for pleasure to the man. Vincent recalls how while they were dating, Valentina would not let them have sex, and this offends her even more, which he finds appalling, considering she was the one who cheated on him. Wow, this is a mess. And Valentina agrees, as she leaves with a sad birthday wish for Vincent. Frustrated, Vincent calls up the newlyweds and apologizes for the scene he caused at their wedding. At home, Vincent is greeted by his angry mother, who is upset with him because she waited all night for him to celebrate his birthday. She yells at him, worried about his late-night outings, while the cartel's out and about in the city. No matter where Vincent goes or what he does, he is haunted by the passing of his little sister. His heart feels heavy and restless when he thinks about her, blaming himself for not being there for her. But luckily his mother is there for him. While Vincent hides this part of him in public, he drowns in the river of self-hatred and guilt each night, all by himself. He arrives late to work, but bringing a box of donuts for his boss Roxanne saves him from getting fired. But the donuts do not work their magic on DeQuell, who is still mad at him. He calls Vincent out on his ways and scolds him for making a move on Lena. He blames Vincent for being a heartless playboy who only confuses love with lust, and tells him to find out about what love is before claiming to love someone. Seeing this exchange, Ben approaches Vincent and tells him to take private martial arts lessons with him from a female instructor to fend off Devin when he finally comes for him. Knowing how ruthless and crazy Devin can be, Vincent agrees. Just before he gets in the car, Vincent feels a presence around him. At the class, Vincent takes the whole girl trainer thing lightly, and ends up getting a taste of Alicia's strength when he mocks her, and rightly so. While leaving, he gets a voicemail from DeQuell apologizing for being so rough on him earlier. He invites Vincent to the church, that is, if Vincent wants to learn about what love is. At the church, the speaker talks about marriage and divorce. He talks about real love, and how it is different from infatuation and momentary attraction, the things that disappear when things get difficult, or when tragedy strikes. These words take Vincent back to the endless fights between his parents after his sister's passing, and he is reminded of how they eventually divorced each other. He gets emotional and leaves. His friends follow him out, knowing it is about Evangeline. Vincent is in tears as he recalls how Evangeline was his everything, his rock, his conscience. DeQuell's wife scolds him, saying that he can't see Lena as a distraction or a body to keep him warm. Lena has been through a lot of things in life as well, losing her father earlier this year, and now living alone without her sister. Vincent does not believe he can ever have what they do, a family, a home, because he can't protect them, like he couldn't protect his own sister. His friends assure him that he is wrong about that, and advise him to think of Lena as his sister, and to build a friendship with her instead of pursuing her with lustful intent. To be a protector and a brother before a lover. That night, Vincent visits the diner Lena works at and sees her with Devin. When Devin leaves, he approaches Lena with charm and caution. Lena sees right through him and refuses to be lenient with him this time. But Vincent is a man on a mission. He seeks forgiveness and apologizes to Lena for the way he behaved at the wedding. He offers her his true intentions of being there for her, because he knows what it is like to lose someone. Eventually, he manages to wear her down. Back home, Vincent sees his guitar discarded in the corner, and recalls a now painful memory of how his sister saved up money to buy him that guitar for Christmas. They were supposed to write a song together on that guitar. The memory tugs at his heart, and Vincent finds the motivation he was looking for. He puts up a whiteboard in his room and starts searching for the meaning of love. He asks everyone he meets and knows about their definition of love. He maintains a friendship with Lena, not pushing for more, and does better each day as he studies about love. But he can't find the answer to the love question. All he finds is more questions. He learns to love in solitude. To not ask, but to give. To not demand, but to sacrifice. At work one day, Vincent learns about Roxanne's missing daughter, the one she spent years trying to find. She imparts some of her wisdom on him, telling him that when two people love each other, no matter what, they always find a way to connect. Everywhere he goes, Vincent strikes up a conversation about what love is. He blames his friend DeQuell for getting him hooked on the quest to find the meaning of love. He gets a few answers over time, but none that seem like the ultimate definition of love. Some say it is like planting trees, some say it is in caring for the poor. The most fascinating one comes from DeQuell's son, when he says love is like a ghost, because people talk about it but they can't see it. And that really makes Vincent think. During one martial arts session, Julia gets way too real and rough with poor Vincent, and breaks a rib, warning him to stop chasing after young girls and breaking hearts for the fun of it. She threatens to break a bone every time he breaks someone's heart. Later, he visits his father's clinic to get an examination, and tells him he got hurt while searching for the meaning of love. Vincent opens up to his father, saying that he just wants peace. So far, his pursuit of the meaning of love has only told him that love is painful. His father disagrees, saying that it isn't true love that causes pain, it is the other things that come with it. Longing, selfishness, and ego are the things that cause pain. Vincent makes fun of the religious definitions his father offers, and so the man hands him a tape of Einstein talking about love. Back home, Vincent sees the news about the cartel and their latest attacks. Suddenly, he feels the presence again, and his backpack falls. Out comes the CD his father gave him. Vincent puts it on. Hearing Einstein's take on love moves Vincent, and his beliefs shift. He finally finds the meaning of love he has been looking for. Love is light. It is the power that saves humanity from being extinguished in its selfishness. God is love, and love is God. Vincent starts taking steps to better his life. He buys an apartment and works hard each day. One day while at work, Vincent notices that his friend Paul is acting a little distressed. When he tries asking him about it, Paul dismisses his concern and tells him to mind his own business. Vincent goes back to thinking about love, and wonders what might be the greatest love story of all time. Just then, he feels the presence again when a wooden bar falls behind him in the shape of a crucifix. Vincent has dinner with the psychologist, wanting to hear her thoughts on love. Lena serves them and overhears their conversation. She feels happy that Vincent is trying to change himself. But when Devin sees the scene from outside the diner window, he angrily storms off. Later that night, Vincent gets followed by the same guy from that night of the wedding. Unaware, Vincent is chilling in his room. Meanwhile, Devin also follows Vincent home and ends up coming face to face with the guy with the gun. The man tells Devin that he is here to make Vincent pay for his sins, and that is just a perfect coincidence for Devin. The next day at work, Vincent sees that there is a lot of tension around him. His friends are struggling with family stuff, and the newlywed Steven is arguing with his wife. He overhears Paul making plans to meet someone. He continues to do his work when the cable stops working. Vincent wonders if he could take it home and use it, and suddenly he feels the presence again. He keeps the cable after getting Roxanne's permission. Back home, Vincent is surprised by an unlikely visitor. Devin shows up at his door and asks for forgiveness for the way he behaved at the wedding. As an apology, Devin invites him to a cabin in the woods to chill with his other friends. Though Vincent refuses at first, he ends up at the cabin and finds himself all alone. Turns out it was an ambush. Two men hold Vincent at gunpoint, with one of them, Purvis, blaming Vincent for taking advantage of his sister. After a whole lot of confusion, it turns out that all Vincent did was kiss the woman whose honor her brother is fighting for, and nothing else. The older man clears up the confusion and sends Purvis out. He then tells Vincent a story about the girl in question. He points out of the window, where a woman is playing with a baby, and tells him that he took the woman in after her father passed away when she was young. She didn't have a mother, so her father said. So once she grew up, the woman went looking for her mother. She went into the city and an unfortunate thing happened there. When came back home, she was pregnant. Someone had the girl, however, she chose to keep the baby. The woman outside turns around, and Vincent is shocked to see that she is none other than Valentina, his ex, who he had thought cheated on him 2 years ago. There's a young girl in her arms. Guilt takes over reason, and Vincent rushes out. On his ride back home, the memory of his last night with Valentina haunts him, and Vincent gets emotional. When Valentina told him that she was pregnant, Vincent instantly assumed that she cheated on him, and his declarations of love were toast. He walked away from her without letting her explain. When he gets back, Vincent carves a crucifix, and vows to be committed and to He gives up his old ways cold turkey, and walks the path of straight and narrow. One day, his mother sees him writing something in his diary, and Vincent tells her they are wedding vows for his future wife. His mother asks, what if the girl isn't pretty enough, or worse, what if she cheats on him? Vincent calmly replies that if that happens, it still won't change the way he feels about her. His feelings are his to control. If the woman he gives these vows to accepts them, he will be committed to her forever. One evening, Vincent is reminded of the time he wrote a song with his sister on the guitar she gifted him. He recalls how she asked him to make her a promise that either one of them would always take care of their parents. The memory makes him emotional. Suddenly, Vincent spots a map on his bed with the word cartel marked on it, and he is reminded of his co-worker, who has been somewhat suspicious and disturbed lately. He arrives at the place, where he finds Paul being beaten up by a few goons. Scared, Vincent is held at gunpoint by the men. But thanks to Paul, Vincent leaves unscathed. Vincent arrives at a dance party with Alicia as his date. There, he finds out that Stephen and Lily, whose marriage he recently attended, are now separated. The two separately share their sorrows with their friends about how marriage wasn't all that they thought it would be. It was more work than either of them expected. Vincent and Lena see each other in the hallway. Lena's without Devin, who went to get real drinks with his friends. As Vincent listens to Lena talk about her sister, he can't help but remember the time when he danced with his own sister in that same hall. Evangeline had been hell-bent upon teaching him how to dance in the middle of the night. He tells that story to Lena, who is fascinated by it. She has always wanted a brother who could teach her how to dance, and insists that Vincent should show her some moves. Vincent takes Lena to the dance floor, and just as the two are giggling and having innocent fun, Devin walks in. He aggressively breaks up the fun and takes Vincent outside to talk. But instead, he starts throwing punches at him. Vincent tries to stop him with all the martial arts training he has been taking, but Devin still overpowers him. He pounds Vincent into the ground, beating him like an animal, and all Vincent can remember in the moment is his little sister's face. Luckily for him, Lena walks out at the right time and stops Devin. She demands that he apologize to Vincent, but Devin walks away without a word. Lena rushes to Vincent's rescue, and just before his eyes shut, Vincent sees his sister's face in Lena's. Vincent wakes up in the hospital and asks his dad if Evangeline is alive. The man calmly responds that he believes she just might be, since he has felt her presence around him a few times. Meanwhile, Devin makes a deal with Purvis to falsely accuse Vincent of impregnating his sister. He just wants Vincent out of his life. For the right price, Purvis agrees. One night, a detective shows up at Vincent's doorstep. Detective Clark has an arrest warrant against Vincent, and this news shocks his mother, since her son is the victim, if anything. Vincent gets wrongly accused of and gets arrested. His arrest makes headlines in the newspaper. All his friends and acquaintances, and Lena, are shocked to find out that Vincent could do such a thing. The prosecutor vows to bring Vincent to justice in the court. Soon, Vincent gets out on bail, and his lawyer tells him that he has to wear an ankle monitor, all because of the public prosecutor, who painted him guilty without even giving him a chance to prove his innocence. The lawyer is surprised to see Vincent so calm through this entire process. The lawyer mentions he would rather be working on the cartel case than dealing with this right now, and that alerts Vincent. He gives him a list of protocols to follow while Vincent's on bail, and tells him to behave until the trial, or else he could go to jail for an uncomfortably long time. Vincent's dad picks him up and he returns home, much to his mother's relief. Meanwhile, things are not so great between Devin and Lena. She is still mad at him for his outburst, and Devin promises that he has been taking alcoholic and anger management classes to fix it. Lena gets angry at him for not listening to her, even though she was clear that Vincent is just her friend. Eventually, Devin manages to wear her down with flowers and a sweet apology. Lena promises to be there for him through this, just as he was with her. Just then, Devin goes down on one knee. That night, Vincent calls up his friend who is mixed up with the cartel. He warns him that dealing is a slippery slope, and that he needs to find a way out. But Paul does not want to hear Vincent preach about after the things he has been accused of. No one believes the man, but Vincent prays to God, not knowing if he is even out there, to help the people out there who need him. When he returns to work, Roxanne ruthlessly fires him without a single word. She forbids him from calling her any cutesy nicknames. Just as he is walking out the door, Vincent addresses her as Mrs. Valentine, and this takes Roxanne by surprise. She once talked to her team about her daughter, who was taken away from her, and she never even got to know her own daughter. Vincent then tells her how he knows her husband was Mr. Valentine, and that he took her daughter away when she was 2. He is talking about Valentina, who resides in the neighboring town, but Roxanne never had the chance to get to know her because Mr. Valentine kept it a secret. When he tells her that the person he has apparently been accused of is his daughter, and that she's in town, Roxanne immediately wants to know where she is, but Vincent burned that bridge long ago. Later that night, Vincent invites his father over, knowing that it will anger his mother, but he has something important to tell them. He confesses to a sin. He is the reason why Evangeline is no more. In a flashback, Vincent recalls the night he broke up with Valentina and came home. His parents were out on a date, and a young boy named Scott was honking in their driveway. Evangeline asked Vincent to send Scott away, because she could not go out with him since he was drunk. She did not want to tell him herself, afraid that Scott would think she did not like him. But Vincent told her that since he is her boyfriend, she should tell him herself. Evangeline insisted that she did not have the strength to deal with Scott and needed Vincent's help. That reminded Vincent of the words Valentina said to him, that she needs him. He refused to help his sister, telling her that what she really needed was a brain, so she could pick a decent boyfriend for herself, who might be cheating on her anyway, because that's what everyone's doing. He tells her he does not even know what love is anymore. She leaves, telling him she still loves him no matter what, and gets in the car with the drunken Scott. In his grief, Vincent does not stop her and walks away. And that night, Evangeline passed away in a car accident. In the present, Vincent regrets his decision and blames himself for never stopping her. And his actions that night eventually led to his parents' divorce. He tells them that he tried to mask his pain through parties and drinking and hanging with loose women. He apologizes to his parents, his heart heavy with guilt. His father tells Vincent to let God in. There is unrest in the Lovell household with Vincent's confession. And then, Evangeline's spirit materializes in their living room. Drowning in despair, Vincent goes to his room and takes out his gun. He starts loading it, unable to see or hear his sister's spirit behind him, begging him to feel her presence. His parents pray to the Lord to help Vincent feel his presence and believe in him, while Vincent prepares to, even as Evangeline begs him not to. She yells, reminding him of the promise he made to her, and suddenly the image of a crucifix flashes behind his eyes, and Vincent stops. The guitar sounds on his bed, and Vincent just knows that it is Evangeline. He can feel her presence now. He asks out loud if she is around, and she answers that she always is. Back when he thought he had heard someone in the parking lot while talking to Ben, Evangeline was there. She told him to do it, take the martial arts class. Then again, at the workshop, she was the one who dropped the crucifix on the ground. And she was the one who dropped the bag on the floor so that Vincent was reminded of the Einstein CD his dad gave him, just when Vincent was starting to doubt love again. She was the one who told him to keep the broken cable for himself. Finally, everything makes sense to him, and Vincent finds the true meaning of love. With Evangeline guiding him with her presence, Vincent puts up the crucifix in his room, with the names of his family members on it. Shortly after, Vincent has an epiphany. He remembers all the promises he made to his friends, and though he is not allowed to leave his house, Vincent packs his bag and walks out with purpose. The police are alerted of Vincent's move, and they follow him. His distressed mother, who found a bullet outside Vincent's room, calls up his father, realizing that Vincent was trying to say goodbye to them. Meanwhile, Vincent makes his way to his destination, but runs into car trouble on his way. DeQuell's son Kyson misses Vince at his birthday, but even DeQuell has accepted the accusations against Vincent, and thinks it is for the best that he is not there. Vincent abandons his car and starts running. He tries calling DeQuell, but the man refuses to answer. Meanwhile, the police and his father search for him. Kyson waits for Vince. Roxanne searches for her daughter. Paul prays to God, asking for a sign to help him make a life-altering decision. And then suddenly, fireworks go off in the area. Paul gets his sign, and Kyson gets his birthday surprise when Vincent comes running toward him with a football, surprising everyone, but especially DeQuell. When Olivia finds Vincent's car vacant, she panics, but Leon asks her to stay put. Inside the car, she finds a document that states her mortgage has been paid off by Vincent and Leon. While the police tail him, Vincent runs across the street, dropping a bag. The homeless man finds a jacket and a letter in it. Inside the letter is a key. Vincent keeps running and arrives at the location where Paul is being held by the cartel. Vincent heroically takes out his gun, and shots are fired. In a dramatic fight sequence where Vincent efficiently uses all his martial arts moves, he takes down most of the men there. When the gun empties, he takes out an electric cable, the same one his sister's spirit convinced him to keep, and uses it to fight off the bad guys. Just when Vincent is outnumbered, Evangeline's spirit shows up, and she gets the bad guy to shoot at Vincent's ankle monitor instead. The police lose connection, and then Evangeline guides Vincent, just like the time she taught him to dance, and helps him tie up the bad guys with the cable. When Vincent saves him, Paul tells him that he had to dabble in because he just found out he has a son of 4 months who he has to provide for, and his regular job is not cutting it. Vincent does not judge his friend. Instead, he only tells him to do the right thing for the city and tell the cops the truth. Evangeline whispers, "Park Central Square," in Vincent's ears, and the man is struck with the idea to go there. He takes off, and Evangeline blows away the tickets he left behind in the right direction. Meanwhile, Devin continues to drink a lot at his and Lena's engagement party that night, and Roxanne keeps looking for her daughter. Evangeline whispers the same words to her father, and Leon is struck with the idea to check Park Central Square. One ticket reaches a stranger walking down the street. Vincent runs over to the park, and there he encounters Lena and a wasted Devin. Devin scowls at Vincent and takes Lena away, despite her protests. But as they are walking away, Vincent can't help but remember how he let Evangeline go with a drunk man. He is haunted by the old memories and the promises he could not keep. He thinks of everything he's learned about love in the recent past. When he sees his father running toward him, he recalls Leon's words, "Let him in." A switch flips. Vincent turns and stops Devin, asking Lena if she wants to go with him. She says she wants to drive, but Devin is thick-skulled. He does not listen or care, and as expected, a fight breaks out when Vincent tries to stop him. Evangeline stops her father from intervening between the men, as Vincent gets up, saying he will not let another sister be dealt with the same fate. He stands up to Devon and asks him to let out whatever anger or baggage he has. Vincent can take his anger if it means Devon will never lay a finger on Lena. He warns Devon that if he does, he will make sure Devon never sees her again. Vincent tells him that he needs to learn to love himself before he claims to love Lena. Lena remains stunned as she sees Devon realize his mistake. He apologizes to Vincent, but the man just can't catch a break. His sister has big plans for him all night, since the ticket she flew earlier finally makes its way to him. She urges him to hurry, and Vincent rushes to the theater. He enters a Romeo and Juliet show at the theater. Not understanding what he is doing there, Vincent is about to leave when Evangeline stops him. Compelled by an unseen force, Vincent is forced to watch the end of Romeo and Juliet, as he realizes through his sister that love is not something that one finds, it's something they choose. And when they choose love, love will find them. He finds his seat, and there he sees her, Valentina. He takes a picture of her and sends it to Roxanne. He is about to leave when he decides not to. He kneels in front of Valentina and tells her about her mother, who is looking for her. He goes on to give her a heartfelt apology for the way he treated her. He gives her a note, the one in which he wrote his vows, saying that he does not want their story to end in tragedy. But before she can respond, Vincent walks away. Valentina realizes she does not want their story to end in tragedy either, and goes looking for Vincent. She does not find him anywhere, but proceeds to read the note he gave her. In the note, he declares that he loves the person reading it. Love is patient, he promises to be patient with her. Love is kindness, we see the homeless man finding his way to Vincent's apartment. As Vincent talks about all the things that love is and is not, the true meaning which he finally found, we see things coming together. Steven and Lily get back together when they find out Lily is pregnant. The police find the cartel, and everyone finds their happiness in one way or another. Evangeline watches over her family as her parents reunite, and her brother finds peace. And Roxanne finds her daughter, Valentina. It is a teary but happy reunion for them. In the end, after understanding the true meaning of love and telling us all about it in his monologue, Vincent finally finds the love he lost with Valentina when she accepts his vows.